I guess my response would be, a la Lady Gaga, I was born this way. I'm half English, half Chinese. So you could argue that, initially I never really fitted in anywhere. I was born in the UK, but when I was 6, we moved to Brunei and Borneo where my father got a job, so I grew up in Asia. And my childhood was actually characterised by a fair bit of racial prejudice, in the sense that growing up in Asia, to the English I wasn't English, to the Chinese I wasn't Chinese. And while that is a very long way behind me now, it was undoubtedly, one of my formative experiences. I went to school and university in the UK, I worked in London, I worked in Singapore, I moved here in '98, so I'm a global citizen, essentially. So, a lot of different experiences have gone into, making me who I am today. This is very serendipitous because nothing in my life has ever been planned, but I've ended up working on 2 web ventures which represent, you could say, the 2 halves of me. So If We Ran the World is my professional side, and it's the culmination of all my own personal beliefs, values, philosophies of business and life. Make Love Not Porn is my personal side, and that's born out of my personal dating and sexual experiences. I'm very lucky because I have 2 ventures which feature things that I feel very strongly about. When I feel strongly about something, I do something about it, and I feel very passionate about it. The single biggest pool of untapped natural resource in this world is human good intentions that never translate into action. And because I've spent 26 years working in brand building, marketing, advertising, I realised there was another equally large, powerful, untapped pool of resource, which is corporate good intentions. Because companies have good intentions too, but just like people, they find it really hard to find quick, easy and simple ways to act on them, importantly in ways that make sense for and drive their business. So I've created If We Ran the World as a very simple Web Meets World platform that turns good intentions into action, one micro action at a time. The micro action is the atomic unit of If We Ran the World, in the same way that tweet is the atomic unit of Twitter. A micro action is the action equivalent to 140 characters or less. It's an incredibly small, simple, easy to do action, so easy to do, why wouldn't we do it? So I'm tapping into 2 very powerful dynamics in the marketplace today, crowdsourcing and the power of small increments. We have microfinance with Kilo, we have microblogging with Twitter, next level, micro actions. But I'm trying to do something much more difficult than Facebook and Twitter, which is actually get people to do shit in the real world, which is a real tough one. And then I'm also looking to disrupt the world of business and the world of advertising and marketing. Because If We Ran the World is a for-profit venture, and our business model is grounded in the brand and business user proposition, we work with brands to build their action brands by crafting tailored, customized action programs that are deliberately designed to integrate social responsibility and business and to do good and make money simultaneously. So whenever we complete an action and have a timing, we feel enormously good about ourselves. If I just clear my desk, the sheer joy and delight I feel is way disproportionate to the amount of effort actually involved. So If Ran was predicated on the idea that as you complete each micro-action, you build your self-esteem, you feel good about yourself. The more you do, the more you feel you can do. It's a thinking behind that well-known saying, when a man is hungry, don't give him a fish, teach him to fish. Because action is transformative. Feeling you can with one tiny action begin actively taking control of your life and your circumstances is what actually gets people out of, at the extreme end of the spectrum, poverty, despair, abuse, at the more everyday end of the spectrum, apathy, laziness, talk. So a micro-action, it can be anything that is the first step in doing something you want to do. It can be, if you have a task where you might decide you want to help the homeless, and you can do that by doing something very tangible, like starting a food and clothing drive at a homeless shelter in your local neighbourhood. And you can break that into micro-actions that might be, ask local retailers to act as donation drop-off points. You want to tell the community this is happening, so a micro-action is design a flyer, to post around the community. Another micro-action might be photocopy 200 copies of that flyer, distribute it around the neighbourhood. And then what you can do is, with each of those micro-actions, you can, through around the world, you can email them out to your friends in your network as invitations to act. And they have attributes. They have what we call talents and tools. Talents are the innate skills required to perform a micro-action. Tools are the external resources you need access to. So, if it's design the flyer, you might have a friend who's a graphic designer. And so he has the talents required for that. And it's a micro-action that'll take him maybe an hour, after work one evening, doing something good, where actually he might enjoy doing it because he's got free creative reign. He has got a client sitting on his shoulder going, got to do it like this. Then when it comes to Provocateur and copies of that flyer, maybe you have a friend who works in a very large company who finds it very easy to pop into the photocopying room and photocopy that flyer 200 times because they have access to a photocopier. And all they have to do is walk down the corridor, easy peasy. So the idea is that you can break things into micro-actions, but you can then match those micro-actions with people who are perfectly positioned to do them. When something is a tiny bite-sized chunk of action, and because of your particular talents or resources, it's no effort at all to do it. No, interestingly, several companies have said to us that they think this could be a very useful internal tool. And in fact, we've actually been asked for white-labeled applications, but unfortunately, we're actually not at the stage of our own life cycle yet where we can afford to do that. You could basically use this platform to do anything that is about turning attention into action. And in that sense also, I guess what's quite disruptive about this as well is, if around the world is born out of my belief that the future of the world is about collaboration. Interesting side effects if we get this right. The first is that if we around the world has the potential to be the world's best ever online dating site, and I say that because arguably the single biggest determinant of how well you will get on with anybody else is whether you share the same beliefs and values. When you're then enabled to act on those together, action is very bonding, it's very unifying, and so there's the recipe for it. And the second thing it has the potential to be is the world's best step for something it's possible to integrate, which is people actually get shit done and follow through with action. Make Love Not Porn comes from the fact that I date younger men. I encountered, through dating younger men, very directly and personally, the real ramifications of the creeping ubiquity of hardcore porn in our culture via the internet, and I did something about it. Make Love Not Porn gets tweeted all around the world, and I get emails literally every single day about it, from young and old, male and female, all around the world. I want to socialise porn. I would like to be with Make Love Not Porn in the 21st century, what Hugh Hefner and Playboy were in the 20th, i.e. legitimise sex and porn, bring the dialogue around them out into the open. I want to redefine porn, and I would like to be the future of porn. I encountered lots of what my venture is designed to address, which is lots of good intentions and very little action. Lots of people have said nice things and no follow through. And so, by all means, network. By all means, get advice and talk to people. But at the end of the day, know the only person who can make anything happen for you is you. And actually, that's an enormously reassuring thing to know. Seth Godin said in his book, Small is the New Big, if you work for someone else, you have no job security. And so, I think people who, would like to pursue a passion or to be an entrepreneur, but who are terrified at the thought, ironically, it's the safest option you have. Because, whose hands would you rather put your future in? A big corporate entity who doesn't give a shit about you, or somebody who will always have your best interests at heart, i.e. you?